Hi everyone, this is Lori and I'm so glad to be here. I just wanted to let you know that the project that I will be doing today, I'll be using fabric. Now, don't be concerned if you don't have a Hobby Lobby near you or you can't find this particular fabric. Go through your fabric, go through your friend's fabric. You can always find adorable images and you can use the same process as I show you in this video. So with that said, we will move on and I'll show you how to make some vintage Christmas kitty ornaments. I think you're going to enjoy this. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is some wooden blanks, okay? Now I purchased 3" and 2.5". Depending on the image that you decide to use on the fabric will determine, what size circle you'll need. Now, I'll tell you, when I was looking for circles with a little bit of depth to them, I was really getting frustrated. I was looking on Amazon and Temu and different places, and a lot of times they would advertise them as, for example, 3". But then when you really started reading the details, they would say 2.9 inches or 3.14 inches. And I needed exactly 3 inches, okay? So I happened to run across this site on Etsy, and I was really impressed with this shop. It's called Hoosier Blanks, and you can find them at hoosierblanks.etsy.com. This is a woman-owned and family-operated business, and they sell quality blank wooden images, and they actually have a total of 1,025 different ones on this site, and I thought their prices were extremely reasonable. Now, they did give me a choice of 1/8 or 1/4 inch as far as the depth, and I chose the 1/8 inch because I needed a little bit of a border here to glue on the trim, right? Now, I painted all of these blanks with 2 coats of folk art paint, and this was the multi-surface paint in titanium white. After I did that, I thought, I really didn't need to do that other than just painting the sides here, because for the glitter part, what I used was my 2.5 inch punch and my 3 inch punch, and I cut out I cut those out from the white glitter cardstock that I got at Walmart. This is Pen and Gear. This is diamond print, okay? And it's for use with any inkjet printers. They usually make, cards or invitations or whatever on this, but I found this extremely helpful for my crafting. So this is why I always keep at least a pack on hand. You might want to pick it up now, because I will tell you, this goes pretty quickly once the winter months roll around, or I should say late fall, early winter. So, and the last time I bought this, which was last year, the price was not bad at all. So I'll have to check it out again. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3 inch punch. Now I already glued this little punch on the wooden blank on this side. Now I've got to glue it on that side. And I'm just going to do this with my Fabri-Tac. Like that. And I'm going to make sure that it is nice and even. Press it down, then even it up again, and then allow it to dry. And then you'll have this pretty shimmer on both sides. And I'm going to do the other side of this one too. my Fabri-Tac on. Oop, I think I went off the edge there. Yep. Okay, press it down and then square it up again, and I'm going to allow that to dry. That shouldn't take too long to dry. So, let's see. Alright. So, with that said, I'm going to show you my fabric that I have literally chopped to bits, cutting out kitties. And I found this at Hobby Lobby. And the reason why I'm showing this to you as the first tutorial is because I want to make sure that if you want to try this craft that you'll still have access to the fabric. I purchased this fabric I think a couple of months ago, and they ran out pretty quickly, but I noticed that Hobby Lobby restocked all their Christmas fabric, and they had 2 bolts of this in there. So I just thought they were really cute. When I saw them, it reminded me of vintage kitties, and I thought, you know, I might try to make a little ornament with these. These are just so darn cute. And I believe I got a half yard, but depending on how many kitties you want to make, if you want to make just a few, I think a 1/4 yard would be enough. So this is the one here that we're going to do today, okay? But I wanted to show you what I did. Well, actually, I think I'll just show you as I put them together, so hold on. Okay, by the way, I forgot to show this to you. This is the number of the fabric in case you want it, so you can put this on pause. And if they don't have it at Hobby Lobby, you can type this in and in Google, and it should come up for you. So, okay. So, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to rough cut the kitten that you want out of your fabric, okay? And this is the one that I rough cut. And if you noticed, I left blue around here, and you want to do that because once you glue it on here, you're going to cut it out and you're going to leave a little bit of the blue edge. Now I cut it kind of close here. I probably should have gone a little bit wider than that, but that's okay because we'll be cutting this one out. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to turn it over and take your Fabri-Tac, and you notice that I'm putting a little bit of the Fabri-Tac not only in the middle, but on that blue edge as well. And if you miss some of the blue edge, you can always go back in even after you cut it and put a little bit under there. But I try to get as much as I can anyway. Okay. So I'm going to put this here in the corner and pat it down like that. And it should dry within a few hours. So I'm just going to cut this out like that. And we'll allow this to dry, and then I'll come back in and we'll cut around the edges here. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, before we start cutting, I wanted to show you some of these I was working on. This is one little kitten. I thought it went like this originally, then I looked at the bow and I thought, no, I think he's supposed to be hanging upside down. So I thought that was kind of cute. And then we have one here hanging on a light bulb. And then this one in the stocking. And this one is sitting in a cupcake. So I thought those were cute. So I'm going to place these aside, and as you cut this, remember you're going to leave a little blue edge. I would say maybe about 1/8 of an inch or so. You don't want it too wide, but you don't want it too small either, because you're going to be putting glitter on that blue part, just to make it look vintagey. Just do the best you can. Go all the way around like this. And this part, now see, as I'm cutting, you can tell that's probably come up a little bit, but that's okay, because you just go back in and put a little more fabric tack. And you just cut around the edges like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting the rest, and then I'm going to add a little more glue to this right here along the edge. Okay, so I put some glue underneath there, and I went around the edges and did this, and I didn't see anything that lifted up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this double-sided tape, just a piece of it, and put it like this and stick it to the paper plate. I found it easier to turn the paper plate as I'm doing the edges rather than trying to hold this with glue everywhere. So I'm using the art glitter glue, but you can use any glue you want that'll hold glitter. Okay, and I'm just using this soft brush. It's real narrow here at the tip. I guess if I were to measure the width of the brush, it's probably about 1/8 of an inch wide in width. Okay, 1/8 of an inch wide in width. That really makes sense. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to put just a little bit of this in the little bottle cap there. I have saved bottle caps for years to put Mod Podge in, or paint, or glue, or whatever I needed to do. Okay, and let me see if I can move this lamp a little. I'm just going to dip right here, and I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can before this dries, because I want to go all the way around, then I'm going to put glitter on it. And the glitter that I purchased was from Hobby Lobby, and it wasn't that expensive, surprisingly. You want to use the silver or gold glitter on this, depending on what suits best for this image and the colors, you know. Okay, and then I'm almost around. And I'm going to go all the way around. And it's best to use a glue that takes a little while to dry, because as you can see, it takes a moment to get around, and you don't want it one side to already be dried. And I just think it gives this a nice vintage look. Okay, here we go. We're at the end. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside, and I bought this gold glitter in tarnished. It's the Glitter Guy, $2.49, and this one is just called Vintage, and it's in the silver. So I'm going to use the gold on this one. I did use the silver on another ornament that was like this one, but I think the gold looks better with the red and the green. So we're just going to do this. Don't worry about how much glitter you're pouring on here, because we'll put it right back in the bottle what you don't use. Just want to make sure it's covered. Alright. And I'm going to lift this up, and I'm going to try to grab it here in the middle, because that's where the tape is. Okay, and if you missed any spots, you can always go back in. I think this covered pretty well. Now, I'm not going to thoroughly brush it off until this is completely dry. I'm going to set this aside on my silicone mat. I finally started using a silicone mat over my my cutting mat underneath, because I found that I get glue on it eventually, no matter how careful I try to be. And then I end up having to buy a new mat, like I did not too long ago. So we'll clean up all this afterwards. And I found the best way to clean these silicone mats is either with a sticky roller brush, or you can just rinse it right off with water. But as far as brushing it off, forget it. Okay, so we'll be back after this dries completely, and I'll see if it needs any touch-ups, and if it does, I'll just go ahead and take care of that off camera, okay? Okay, so I wanted to show you, while our kitty is drying, how I customized my own colors for my bead trim. Now, you don't have to do this part. If you would like to buy bead trim and just glue it on there, you can do that. Pom-poms, whatever you want. But I just wanted to show you this in case you wanted to do this for this project, or maybe even a future project. So what I glued this down with, you're not going to believe this, triple thick. I bought this at Hobby Lobby for $5.69 just this last weekend. And I'll tell you where I found it. I went to the acrylic paints aisle, and I was walking down the aisle, and you know how after the acrylic paints there's the metallic paints and the glitter paints and the larger jars of paint? Well, it was down at the very end with the larger jars of paint at the very bottom of the shelf. Okay, so Hobby Lobby does sell this. I do believe that it's online as well, but it was $5.69 in the stores. So I took a little paintbrush here, you can see about the size, and I just painted around the edges, and I put the little trim that I made around here. And let me tell you, I couldn't believe how sturdy this is. This is so nice. And I have to say that even though I like Fabri-Tac very much, as far as putting trims on, this has a better hold. So, yeah. So I'm going to set that aside. If you're going to just use the trim that you buy, that's fine. You can skip this part, but I'm going to show you just in case you want to do it for the future. Now, I used the 6.0 check glass beads from Hobby Lobby in the red and the green. I couldn't find the 6.0 beads in the white, so I had to go for the 8.0 beads. Now the 6.0 check glass beads right here, you can tell I used a lot of them already on different projects. These are the 6.0. You can see they have like a lilac colored trim here at the bottom. Those are the 6.0s. And this is the 8.0 that I had to go for. And they have the mint green color right here on the edge. Now, I wouldn't go any smaller than 8.0. That's for sure. I think that the 6.0 really works the best. Okay? Now, I didn't pay these kind of prices that you see on the edge. Every other week, they will have all of their strung, boxed, and tubed beads on sale for either 40% off or 50% off. So, just keep that in mind. That's when I buy these. Alright? I check the ads. Alright. Now, what I strung them with. You can use a bead needle, and honestly, it doesn't matter what size. It really doesn't. This is a real long one that I bought. There was 4 in this package. I'm going to tell you the story about this one. This was on sale on Amazon for $5 and something cents and it said for one package, right? That's 4 beading needles. And so I ordered them, and I got an entire box. There was 10 packages in there. So I knew something was not quite right, so I contacted Amazon. Finally got a live person to talk to. And I guess the person that pulled this made a mistake and didn't read per package and sent me the whole box, but they told me to go ahead and keep it. So I did keep a couple of packages, and of course I blessed other people that were into jewelry making as well with the rest. So, and these needles, they're not sharp. They're flexible. You open them up in the middle like that to put your thread in. I'll show you how I did that. And as far as the thread, this is just crochet thread. I don't even know what size it is. It's not super fine, but it's not thick either, that's for sure. And I got this for like 74 cents when it was on clearance at Hobby Lobby. So if you get some crochet thread, you just cut a long length off so you'll have more than enough. Then you'll be doing fine. Now, let's see. I'm going to open this up, show you how this works. You're just going to slip this in here like this, and then let it go. And see, it doesn't come out or anything like that. Okay? And it's not sharp. It's kind of like beading with a piece of wire. Okay, so I'm just going to start beading until, it measures perfectly at the top. And I'm just going to take a red, a white, and then a green, like that. And one thing about the check glass beads, the reason why I really like the check ones is because they're uniform in size. When you buy the cheap beads, just the 6.0 beads, what you'll end up getting is a lot of irregular sized beads, and that'll affect your project. This is an example. I bought some 6/0 seed beads. They were different colors, okay? And they weren't check glass beads. I didn't know what I was doing. And look at the different irregular beads that were in that mix. Now that could really mess up a project. You might not notice it too much if it's strung like this, but as far as the size goes, I mean, that would change every time in your project, I guess. So anyway, we're gonna just keep on beading red, white, and green. And I even bought some 6/0 seed beads that were a gingerbread color. I thought, how cute would it be to make your own custom trim for a gingerbread ornament in red, gingerbread color, and then green. Maybe I'll show that to you in a minute. Let me see if I can find them. To me, they look like a gingerbread color anyway. They have them in various shades, but I tried to get the one that I thought looked the closest to it. And look at this. It was even on clearance. Can you imagine? So wouldn't that be cute? And even the gingerbread color and a 6/0 white would be cute with it as well. If you just want to do the ginger and the white, that would look like gingerbread with frosting. So I'm going to show you this. I won't sit here and make you watch me do the whole thing, but this is what we have so far. Okay. And if you make a mistake and you notice you accidentally put two of the same color in or whatever, you know, on your string, don't worry about it. You can always hide that after you put your little fabric embellishment on that we're making today, and you'll see what I mean when I put it together. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to do this. I'm not going to make you guys watch me do the whole thing, of course, but you know, this will give you an idea. So just keep beading, and you know, as you think you're getting closer, make sure that they're together, and then you can kind of see how far you are. So when I get to where I think is the end, I'll come back and I'll show you the rest. Okay, so I came to what I felt would be the perfect size. Okay, so I'm going to take this needle off first, and you can feel it with your nail, and just open it, and then take this off. And by the way, make sure you know where this is at all times, because once you drop it on the carpet, oh my goodness, it is so hard to see. And yeah, ask me how I know. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is going to hold it kind of up like that, make sure everything's kind of shaken down, and then we're just going to, oh, let me take this off. Okay, and then we're just going to tie this. We're going to make sure that it's tied not tight where you're just really pulling it, but you want this definitely to be snug. And I did just a simple overhand knot, and then I'm doing another one. Now with the second one, that's when you're really gonna pull it tight, okay? Not the first one, but the second knot. All right, and then make sure you know where it is here, because we're gonna cut it off short like that. Then I'm gonna get my triple thick. Let me open the jar. And I'm going to take a little bit with a paintbrush and do this, because if you do this and then it dries, then it'll be really nice and tight, and it's not going to come off. Okay? There we go. Just like that. I'm going to set this aside. Now you could let that dry for, you know, a little bit if you wanted to, but I think I'm going to just go ahead and show you how I use the triple thick. Now I'm just going to take some out of the jar with my paintbrush. I'm not going to just dip directly out of the jar, because I just, it will eventually, you'll get something in there you don't want eventually by doing that. So I'm just going to do this in my little bottle cap. Okay. And close the lid. You don't want to have the lid open for a while, because eventually over time it'll thicken up on you just like glue. Alright. So I'm using this, and I'm just doing this all the way around, and I'm going to be kind of quick about it. I'm not putting a super tiny amount, but I'm not going overboard either. Okay, and we just keep going just until we get to the end. And I try to do this fairly quickly, simply because I don't want it to start drying out on me, because I'm taking my time. You don't have to rush it, but just, you know, go at a steady, even pace. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside on my silicone mat, and I'm going to put this down on my silicone mat. And I want the part that I tied. See, I did such a good job. I'm trying to find where I tied it. There you go, right there. I'm going to put that at the top. And then just kind of roll the beads over the top like that. See? Alright. Now, I'm going to show you something here. Okay. I got a little bit of the, I must have dripped something here before I laid it down, so be careful of that. If you want, you might want to leave the glitter paper circle off until you put this on, to prevent something like that from happening. Now, that is not a tragedy though, to be honest with you, simply because we will be gluing this on top and you won't see it. Okay, but it's up to you. I'm just kind of letting you know. I didn't expect that. So alright, so anyway, you're going to allow this to dry for a minimum of 24 hours. Now yes, you could pick it up and handle it before then. You could probably even glue everything on here. But I guess I like to, when I'm telling other people how I did it, I want to let you know so you won't end up making a mistake and then saying, "Hey Lori, why didn't you say this?" So I'm telling you what I did, okay, for 24 hours. Alright, so I took way too long to explain that, didn't I? Just like everything. Okay, so this is our little kitty, and I believe our kitty has dried, so I'm going to take the ornament that I already made here that's already dried, and we'll be using that. Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, so at the beginning of the video I said that some images on the fabric may require a 3-inch and others may require a 2.5-inch. And this is what I meant. Okay, first of all, you want to make the base slightly smaller than the image because I really feel like it gives it that 3D effect where it pops out at you. And we're also going to be using the original super glue foam tape mounts, and this is from the Dollar Tree. Okay, now we're going to be using these foam mounts to place these. Now as you can see, if I put this like that, it's going to pop out a little bit. You're still going to get the beautiful base in the background, but I really think this brings attention to the image. Now, some of the smaller images, you can use either one. This is one I made, and you can put it on this, and just imagine there's going to be, beads around here, but this really pops out. You could use the 2.5-inch, or you could use the 3-inch because that still goes over a little bit, see, over the beads. You could, now this one here, this is smaller, so it doesn't do that. So for this one, I think I would use the smaller circle. And see, it goes over the edges a little bit. So this is a little too big, so let's see if it fits better on here. Well, it fits just exactly, I think. So anyway, that's what I was talking about. So we're going to go ahead and place the kitty on this little piece here. But before we do, I'm going to take this silver bale. We're going to put it like this on the back. Okay? And I haven't tried the triple thick with this yet. I know the Fabri-Tac works very well, but I have not tried the triple thick. But I'm going to go ahead and use the Fabri-Tac since that's something I'll probably have to test on my own. I don't want to make this video too long. Okay. And I'm just going to set this right here. I'm going to allow that to dry, okay? And enough to where we can handle it, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I'm not sure where the footage went, but what I did was I took 3 of the super glue foam mounts that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, and even though they're self-adhesive, I did use a little bit of Fabri-Tac on each one, and I glued 3 of those foam mounts, as you can see, to the back of the kitty. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And then, of course, I used Fabri-Tac on the other side too that was adhesive, that glued to the little frame here. Okay? So, so next we're going to decorate him, and so I went ahead and found these little letter beads, and I just put the 6/0 seed beads in between and at the end, and I figured I could have a long word because I could always kind of do that, kind of curve it upwards. And you can find these at Hobby Lobby as well, or Amazon. But I think Hobby Lobby would be cheaper because every other week they usually have 40 or 50% off the beads. So I'm going to take my Fabri-Tac and I'm going to kind of estimate with a pencil here about where the ends would be, roughly. I can kind of look with my pencil marks. There we go. And make sure that it's together like I want it. Perfect. Press this down a little bit. And then I'm going to slowly pull this string out. There we go. How about that? Okay, so that says, oh, look what happened. See, I shouldn't have turned it over and showed you guys. I gotta let it sit for a while, huh? Okay. There we go. Kind of adjust it the way I want. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. I'm not going to touch that one. Now, in the very top here, I'm going to put a little pom-pom on top of that. Now, I just cut a little piece off this pom-pom trim that I bought from Temu. And so I'm going to cut one of those little pom-pom balls off. And I'm just going to put a dot of Fabri-Tac right here. And then put the little pom-pom on here. Like that. Okay. And so then next, I'm going to take a couple of tiny little rhinestones right here. And I'm going to place one in the center of the bow here on each one of the packages. And I'm just going to put a tiny amount of Fabri-Tac on each one. This is practically falling apart. I'm going to need a new one, but I figured that would do it. Yeah. And then I'll do the other one too. And when I say this is falling apart, I mean it. I have to hold it on the side so it won't fall off. Okay, and so now I got this little sorry, I got this little peppermint from this little box here I got at Temu, and that will go over that. Okay, but let's put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on that first. Like that. Now, if you wanted to, you could leave it alone, leave it at that. But I thought it would be cute to take my diamond stickles and just outline the fur on the top of his hat and then the fur under his chin and then the fur on his cuff. And I'll let that dry. And stickles takes a while to dry, by the way. Let's see. I need something to squirt this out on first. I don't like to squirt it on my project. I like to check it first because it can spurt out or it can get clogged like it is now. Yeah, so you gotta be careful. There we go, that's better, I think. Alright, so I'm going to have to work around the camera. And by the way, when you're putting this image onto the base, it's so much better if you're standing up and looking down and doing it. That way you can tell that you're even and your image is straight in the way that you want it and that it's aligned correctly with the bail. I just thought I'd give you that piece of info. And this will flatten as it dries, by the way. There, it'll go on fluffy, but it will definitely flatten. And I always leave this at least overnight because it does take that long. These stickles do to dry. Okay, and then I will put this up. So, of course, after this dries, I think I just flicked a pin out of my container. I'll have to look for it. It's on the rug. Okay, so you're going to allow this to dry flat overnight, and then of course when you come back in the morning, you're just going to slip a ribbon through here, or maybe even a fancy hook. Okay, it's up to you, but this is what it looks like so far, and I'll show you tomorrow morning, of course, you know, when everything's dry, what it looks like. So I'll be back. Okay, our little kitty is finished. It's completely dried. As you can see, everything is secure on here. Very nice. And I put this little peppermint ribbon that I found. I bought this last year at Michael's, and it was after Christmas. It was regular priced $3.99 for 17 yards. And I'm not sure how much I paid for it, but I know it was discounted. So, and then we have the back. And if you want, since this is meant for inkjet printers, this diamond print cardstock, you can take an ultrafine Sharpie and put to and from and, you know, the date, whatever you'd like. And for this, all I did was took a little Fabri-Tac and just layered the ribbons on top of each other so it wasn't real noticeable, and kind of slid this towards the bottom. So yeah, I think it's really cute. Okay, so with that said, I appreciate you watching, each and every one of you, and thank you so much. And please stay tuned, because every Friday I'll be posting a video from now all the way through Christmas week. So I think you're really going to enjoy some of the ideas that I have. So take care, and God bless each and every one of you. Bye-bye.